Hey, what's going on, guys? Lawrence Cotton here. Please excuse my messy bed in the background. I was really too lazy to make my bed. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. Now I know Halloween is already over, but I'm still making this video because I wanted to show you this drawing. This drawing that I made, yes. And even though it wasn't that creepy outside yet, I got to draw this right here. This little Halloween piece of art. But before we can do this, we need to take some reference photos. Now, as you can see, the drawing consists of two main parts: a head and a hand. And since I have a head and a hand, I am the proud owner of a head and a hand, I could take these reference pictures myself, and you are really your own best model. You don't need to search up the internet for a long time just to get the right reference. Just do it yourself, because you can get things exactly the way you want them. And after I've made a small sketch, it's time to start. Drawing in the basic proportions. I'm not that extremely good at drawing heads yet, but I'm practicing. But I'm always starting out like that, just drawing the head of the shape. Basic shape of the head, and then making myself some marks. And I'm drawing in the eyeballs. It's just basically two balls. I'm approaching this like I would sculpt something, because when you sculpt something, you just roll up the eyeballs, you put them in, and after that you add eyelids and the iris and whatnot. And I have the same approach, and also with the hand, I do the same stuff with the hand, basically, just getting the fingers just as lines, and then I'm putting on the mass on them, just like you would do with a sculpture, with just the wire and then the clay. The shading that I'm doing here, by the way, is completely unnecessary, because I'm going in later with ink, and at that moment I wasn't too decided yet if I wanna leave it just like a graphite drawing and maybe go in with some charcoal in the background. I wasn't too sure, I didn't know, so I started to shade it and add some blood drops, but in the end I went over it with ink, and I'm so glad I did. Even though you have to redraw everything, basically, because, obviously when you then start shading it, and you have to do everything again that you already did. But it helps the outcome of the image, it just takes a little bit longer. Now, starting out with the shading, I wasn't too happy with the shading in the beginning, because I was using a relatively thick pen. As you can see, the Staedtler, it's a little bit on the thicker side, although I don't mind it when things are a little bit on the thicker side, And then you have the time to add like little details, like like this little teardrop that you could see on the eye. Now the expression that he has is kind of weird. It's not the same expression that I had when it's not the same expression that I had for the picture. It's he looks a little bit like, his face looks like, he has this typical Jesus expression in his face somewhat, He's looking up with his eyes, and I mean, you know what I mean, right? Like the resemblance is there, and in the way I wanted that, I didn't really think of it that consciously. I just thought like, oh, it kind of looks similar. Doing some more shading. The first shading is always the most difficult, because you need to get into a flow and assess the basic value, how dark is everything gonna be, and yeah, creating a basic value on your drawing is important. Like to assess the really dark spots at first, and then you can go lighter, or you can take the different road. Like with pen and ink, sometimes you go from really light to really dark, depends on the drawing and what I want from the shading. And I'm finishing up the head right now, which is one of the more complicated parts, because if something's off in the face, you're gonna notice immediately. because we see human faces all the time, every day. And if something's off about a human face, you know, it's gonna show in your drawing. And so let's get that out of the way first. Now moving on to the more fun part, which is the hand. And why is the hand more fun than the head? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so childish. And why is the hand more fun than the head? Well, because you can't do that much wrong with a hand once you have the basic proportions down. I mean, the proportions are down, and you know, no one's gonna be like, oh, but it doesn't look like my hand, it looks more like your hand. You know, a hand is a hand. It's not like with a face, with, you know, with wrinkles, with the eyes, with the expression, with the nose and everything that you can get right or wrong. A hand is much more simpler, and you can have much more fun with it. Oh god, I'm sorry. Now, I'm also adding some blood on the fingers, which was the really fun part about this drawing. The most fun part, of course, is the blood. I mean, look at it. It makes the drawing pop even more. It's fantastic, I love it. It's so good. Also adding some blood from the nose, a classic. And now I just went completely nuts with the blood. I don't know if I should be concerned about that. Should I be concerned? No, probably not. But yeah, really fun, makes the drawing pop. Man, it's cool. It's cool, you know, adding some droplets. I was always good at adding droplets to drawings. You know how I was always good at drawing liquids, you know how they flow. And yeah, when you're drawing something like blood, especially in a drawing that's gonna be basically in black and white, to really make it known that it's blood, you know, it needs to be really dark, so it really needs to stand out. Because in real life, blood always stands out, you know, it's red, you can see it from everywhere, you know, add a little reflection like I did on the fingers. And yeah, I mean, you immediately know it's blood. So, and just messy, you know, blood is messy. Yeah, that's it for this drawing. I hope you enjoyed it. Just adding some more shading here and there. And then I'm finished, you know. If you like this video, please consider giving the video the thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a look at my Instagram for some more videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And I hope I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.